Hello. Your pet can't tell you when it's feeling depressed, at least not in so many words, but perhaps you've noticed in the sound it makes, the way it moves or doesn't move, you've noticed that something isn't quite right. These days, more and more vets are prescribing tablets for animal behavioural problems, and in America, vast numbers of dogs are now on antidepressants. And yet one wonders, surely animals in their natural habitats don't need medication. Perhaps it's the life we've created for them, cooped up in flats or houses whilst we're out at work, exposed to the constant rumble of traffic, the noise of neighbours, or the endless chatter of television. Enough to make anyone depressed, I would have thought. I spent over 30 years as a therapist working with people in the depths of depression. What surprises me is something more than the treatment given to animals. It is the sheer number of humans taking the same medication, and in much higher doses. In the United States, for example, antidepressants are now the most commonly used tablets for adults aged between 18 and 44. Severe depression can be an indescribable emotional pain. Whether our depressive mood is mild or overwhelming, I would like to suggest that, like our pets, we too might benefit from returning to the ebb and flow of the natural world. So, in this video, I'm talking about nature and spirit as natural antidepressants. Sometimes when we're low, it's because we feel lonely, bored, or still tending the wounds of loss. In those moments, we are cut off from the warmth and vitality that usually animate our lives. A simple remedy, and a very old one, is just to get outside, take a walk, let our thoughts turn from the inward spirals towards the wider canvas of the world. It makes sense. Physical activity in fresh air and contemplation of nature often bring us closer to what I think of as the creative force behind life itself. And in so doing, we step away from the grey corridors of consumerism and self-absorption. Look around, really look. You might see rain clouds and remember the gift of water. Hills and mountains that in their grandeur mirror life's peak moments of insight. Trees in the forest, standing year after year, patient and enduring, a quiet parable of growth. Perhaps it's no surprise that horticulture workers often report some of the highest levels of happiness in occupational surveys. Fresh air, physical activity, the chorus of birds, the scent of flowers, the feel of earth in the hand. These are simple ways to get out of our miserable habits of thinking. Of course, so much depends on perspective. We can keep our gaze fixed on the narrow demands of ego, or lift our eyes to the horizons of the soul. We can let our ambitions, frustrations sour us, or allow ourselves to be moved by the life force enfolding all around us. Even in the busiest city street, we have a choice to feel utterly alone in the crowd, or to notice a stranger's smile, or the green shoots pushing through in the park. Reality, in the end, is a matter of perception. The 18th century spiritual philosopher Emanuel Swedenborg warned that too much concern about what we want for ourselves can feed our depression. He even claimed that angels in heaven, when they turn inward to self, feel sadness and long to return to mutual love and the presence of God. Swedenborg believed that our deepest feelings of joy or melancholy flow in from a level of consciousness he called the spiritual world. He said, "This is the spirit of an unseen presence within our hearts and minds." Well, what spirit do we favour? We are free to tune our minds much as we might tune a radio, towards the positive or the negative, towards what uplifts, or if we choose, towards the spirit of grievance, intolerance and complaint, towards a positive attitude that makes the best of whatever circumstances we find ourselves in, or a negative mindset that drags our mood down. This freedom isn't magic. We cannot simply snap our fingers and replace depression with joy, but gradually a new pattern can develop if we learn to face towards the light and towards the inner world that reveals it. Swedenborg also noticed that depression can lift when we are distracted by the healthy company of others. It can also improve when we engage with their needs and concerns. Also, when we are aware of the religious teaching about a deeper providence at work in each of our lives. Yes, there are no easy answers, but I do believe that a keener awareness of life's divine source can act as a steadying and healing force. Interestingly, psychological studies tend to find that people of faith, particularly those who take part in communal worship, are less prone to depression and suicide across many different societies. Sweden put it simply: the more we recognize what comes from the divine, the more happiness we know. But the more we rely solely on ourselves, the more it slips away. Now, in this video, I've talked about nature and spirit as natural antidepressants. Whether or not you suffer from depression, thanks for listening to me. And if you like what I'm saying about help for negative emotions, why not click the link to spiritual healing for those who feel bored, empty and stuck.